Right, sister, you got a minute? You got 1 minute for the Bible?
Sure.
Okay, all praises. Now, you believe in the Bible, right? Okay, you believe in God? Do you know your nationality? A little bit? Who would you say it is? You said Christian? Well, that's a religion. Well, religion and nationality, they're pretty different. Yeah. Well, you said you believe in the Bible. We're going to show you something. Go to Deuteronomy 28. First of all, if you know who the world calls Jesus Christ, you know what color he is? Okay, go to Revelation 1.
And we'll say Caucasian. We're not going to say white.
You said we're going to say Caucasian? Okay, now what made you say that? Based off what? Based off the things that you saw in life and, raised up? Okay, we're going to show you something. You can say white. You can say devil, white, the same thing.
But would they consider us black?
Hold on, we're going to show you something.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 1, verse 14, verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one likened to the Son of Man.
Right, the Son of Man, that's another title for the world, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. But we know his name is Yahushua. That's his name in the Hebrew.
Clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
So he had a long garment on. He was a real fly. He had a golden girdle. Right?
His head and his hair were white like wool.
His head and his hair were white like wool. Well, first off, what people on earth have woolly textured hair? Is it the white man? Does the white man have woolly hair? Or is it stringy? We gotta be real, sister. We gotta be real. When you look at a white man, are you gonna say his hair is real stringy or real woolly? It's real stringy. That's what it is. They know it too. They know it.
His head and his hair were white like wool.
White like wool. So he had woolly textured hair and it was white. You look at these brothers' hair, that's how his hair was.
As white as snow. And his eyes were like a flame of fire. And his feet like into fine brass.
His feet like into fine brass. Now if your feet is one color, the rest of your body gotta be one color. That's just the way it works. Now brass is a derivative of brown. Brass is a color similar to this. For those who don't know.
And his feet like into fine brass, as if they burnt in a furnace.
As if they burnt in a furnace. You take brass, throw it in the furnace, you pull it out, it's going to get lighter or is it going to get darker?
Back in the summer, some brothers.
It's going to get darker. So we got an idea of how this man looks. He had a long garment on, he had woolly textured hair, he had a golden girdle, and his skin, his appearance was like a charcoal color. Does it sound like a white man?
Something like that.
That sounds like a white man? White man has dark colored skin?
Some of them do.
Some of them. If you change him to it? How are you going to change him to it? Easy. That sounds like some witchcraft. That's good.
Yes, because some of yours are.
15.
Okay.
Sister, you gotta repent. No witches. No witches. The so-called white man gotta go into slavery. You're gonna be put to death if you keep doing witchcraft. You can change him into a white man, or you can change him.
You and your liver.
Yeah. She was kind of like, she kind of defended Esau.
2/3. This the book of 1 Samuel 15. This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity. It's like in idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king.
Now read it one more time. We're going to break it down.
For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity.
Right, so if you commit a sin, you're basically doing witchcraft. You might as well. Or you might as well set up the tetragram, get whatever type of ingredients you need,
So like in idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord,
Go on.
he hath also rejected thee
Right now, the Most High going to reject you because you too busy dabbling in witchcraft and defending Esau, your white God. Brother, you got a minute?
Trying to get home, baby.
Brother, we can take you home.
I hear y'all over there, man.
What are we talking about?
Talking about spiritual life.
You said your time was on. I'm not going to Zechariah 21 and 11. I think that's what I was.
You said the spiritual high.
Huh?
You said the spiritual high.
So Jake wanted to get spiritually high to get in tune with the Most High. You will hear that a lot. Like, no getting high to get to the Most High. It doesn't work out like that. First of all, it doesn't work out like that. Man, Jake is finished, man. We'll tell you that for sure. Yo, sister, you got a minute for the Bible? 1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute for the Bible,
1
sister.
minute.
1 minute. Handphone spirit. Go to Zechariah 11:7. Yo, is that Esau or Jake? I can't see. Oh no. That's what I wanted earlier.
Book of Sirach, chapter 21, verse 11. He that keepeth the law of Yahweh getteth the understanding thereof.
Right, if you keep this law, statutes, commandments, you're going to get the understanding thereof. Right? Hold on, let's get a precept. Brother, you got a minute? Who's that? Who what you looking for? Go to Luke 24 and 45. Yo, brother, you got a minute? Yo, Israel, y'all got a minute?
Hey, King.
Too busy dabbling to folly, too busy want to smoke drugs. Yo, brother, you got a minute? You got 1 minute for the Bible. You know your nationality? You know your nationality?
Native American.
Native American? Okay. We're going to show you something. You believe in the Bible?
Partially.
You said personally?
Partially.
Partially? What partially?
Because I think it's been rewritten.
By who?
King James.
Okay, we're going to show you something. Somebody got the poster? Where is it at? Which one? Alright, somebody pull it up. Let's show the brother. Brother, we're going to show you something about King James. Now, what you've been taught more than likely that King James is a white man. But we got the real pictures, the artifacts, proof, hardcore evidence that he's a so-called black man.
I can believe that.
All right, all praises. You say you can believe it. We're going to show you something else that you can believe. Go to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. We're going to get straight to it.
Jesus is black too with wool hair.
Say it again.
Jesus is black too with wool hair.
With wool hair?
He had white hair, but he was black.
Okay, all praises. We had a sister that came up earlier. She said no. She basically said no. She couldn't understand it, you know? But all praises you can.
All praises.
This the book
You
of
said all praises?
All praises to the Most High.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
This is Moses speaking to the Israelites. He said, look, you're going to go back into Egypt again, but with ships. So now we got to break it all down. So Moses is speaking to Israel. He said, look, you're going to go back into Egypt again with ships. Mind you, they just left Egypt. They walked out of Egypt. But he said, y'all going to go back with ships. Now the problem with that is you're not going to find it in the Bible. Because there's no other account in the scriptures where those Israelites went back into Egypt. It didn't happen. Now you believe in the Bible, right? So do you think Moses is lying? Okay. So we're going to show you what's going on. We're going to break it down. We're going to show you the definition of the Egypt and what it actually means.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verse 6. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage. That's what Egypt means. Go to Psalms 107 and 10. That's what Egypt means, the house of bondage. Because when you're in bondage, you cuffed into slavery. You're a captive. Is that, brother, walk over there. You mind walking over there?
Believe that we still slaves?
Well, we're still in the land of our captivity. So go to Baruch 3 or 4. See that, brother? He get his back all beaten in. It's broke. It's bloody. That's a bad picture, brother. You got Baruch. All right, we're going to show you that we still in our captivity. We are yet this day in our captivity.
Yep. Bring it
Book
out.
of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 10. Verse 8. Behold, we are yet.
And check out this verse too.
Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject into payments.
Right? So we subject into payments. Brother, you pay rent. You pay taxes. Raise your hand if you pay taxes. We in slavery. We in captivity. And we're going to prove more, just to validate, we're not making this stuff up. All right, go back to Deuteronomy. All right? So we understand Egypt means slavery.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
He said you're going to go back into slavery again with ships. Brother, you hear me? Okay, all praise. He said you're going to go back into slavery again with ships.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Right, you're not going to see it again. Because once you get on that slave boat, you're going to be bound up. Right? You're not going to see your homeland again. Because you're going to another destination.
And there you shall be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
Right, once you get off that boat, you're going to be sold into bondmen and bondwomen, which are slave masters, taskmasters. Right?
And no man shall buy you.
And no man's going to redeem you at that captivity. So which people fit that? Us. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right? Because get that book, Everything You Need to Know About Latino History. Go to page 28. Now he says you was Native Americans. Well, a lot of people don't know those Native Americans were on the slave boats. Right? It was estimated over 1,000 plus Native Americans went up to Spain on slave boats. We're going to show you in page Salaki, go to page 42. Alright? Now this is a historical book. The top anthologists. You can start out there. You can start at right there, where it starts slavery. Check this out, brother. And read out the, call it out.
Roots, the African people.
That's
everything you need to know about Latino history.
Right?
Slavery had been a common practice in Africa, where African slave traders bartered humans for weapons.
Right? Now what that's going into, that's talking about the Africans, the Hamites, selling so-called blacks. Right? For whatever,
For weapons, metal, cloth, and liquor.
So it actually tell you for weapons, cloth, and liquor.
Only the blessed specimens were brought to the New World, and even then, hundreds of thousands did not survive the terrible voyage across the waters.
Right, because they was compact like sardines. Right, you had people sweating on you, people having periods on you, blood spilling all on you. You got shit all on your face.
During which they were shackled in closed quarters with barely enough water or air to last the trip.
Right, go on.
Most African slaves in the Spanish colonies came from eastern Nigeria, the Gold Coast, and particularly the Congo Basin. The rise of the Ashanti, the Ohimia, the Ayo, and other peoples of the Congo Basin was a direct result of the prosperity that the European slave traders brought to that area. It is estimated that as many as 15 million Africans came to America between the 16th and the 19th century.
Right, so this is out of a whole nother book, but we just read earlier out the Bible, slavery going on, right? And how did we get here? We came here from Africa, right? From the West Coast. So this Bible is not lying. This is a prophetic book. Read what you got.
Now go to page 725.
Brother Brother, can you tell me anything about the 144 that's been called?
The 144? Well, nobody knows who the 144 is. You know, that's the elect. So we hope that we're a part of the 144, and we hope that we're a part of the elect. All right? That's what we are here doing right now, trying to wake up the 144 through the Spirit. All right? There's one more thing I want to show you pertaining to the Native Americans. Bear with me.
Oh yeah, this is a curse that happened to the Native Americans in Deuteronomy 28 verse 58 chapter. The 28th chapter. And thy ox shall be slain before thy eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thy ass shall be violently taken away before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thy enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. So just like how they had to kill the buffaloes off so the food stock could go down on Native Americans, they did the same thing that's prophesied in the Bible, the 28th chapter.
Yeah.
And then you can go to verse 25, it says the Lord shall slay, you shall be smitten among thy enemies.
Right, that happened to the Native Americans, your people, you know?
Our people too. That's the right there.
What did? Oh, okay.
This is again out the book, Everything You Need to Know About Latino History.
Page 146. The Taino welcomed the Spanish with open arms,
Taino Native Americans.
believing them to be gods. However, they soon regretted their friendliness. The Spanish began their quest for gold by enslaving the native people.
They what?
The Spanish began their quest for gold by enslaving the native people.
They enslaved the native people. So they went through slavery.
And taking their lands in exchange for working the gold mines.
Read that again. What you just said.
He said it took their lands. And when you take somebody's land, you take what's on the land. You're going to take their cattle. You're going to take the corn. You're going to burn it up. You're going to do whatever. Because you're a thief. You know, that's a so-called white man for you.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 31. Thy ox shall be slain before thy eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof.
Why? Because the so-called white man took your land. Go on.
Thine ass shall be violently taken away before thy face, and thou shalt not be, and it shall not be restored to thee.
You ever get your land back, your animals back? Did the white man go to you personally and say, here go your ass, your donkeys, your horses? Did they do that? No, they didn't do that. They didn't do that to us either. Go to Micah 2. Okay.
Thy sheep shall be given unto thy enemies.
Your sheep was given to your enemies, go on.
And thou shalt not have none to rescue them.
Ain't nobody rescued them. Go to Micah 2 and 1. This is all prophecy out the Bible. And only we fit this.
That's right.
Alright? This is not the Holy Bible, man. This is not fitting the white man. It's not going to fit the Asian man. They got their land. They got their animals. They got their crops. You know, they got their horses, the vegetation.
They prosper.
Yeah, they prospering. Native Americans and Hispanic. Everybody you see on that chart, they not prospering like the so-called white man. Well, why is that? Somebody go to Micah chapter 2, verse 1.
It's the book of Micah chapter 2 verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is at light, they practice precisely because it is part of their hand.
Right, they covet fields.
And they covet fields, and they take them by violence.
You know the so-called white man took this place by violence. We're all aware of that. That's not the Bible, brother. And that's not this other book. So let's go back to it, man.
The Spanish began their quest for gold by enslaving the native people and taking their lands in exchange for working the gold mines and tending the fields to feed the conquistadors.
Right, that was real crafty. You know, they said, look, we'll take this land, and, you know, we'll get you the job.
Look, that's a wicked deal.
That's battery dead.
Battery dead. That's a wicked deal.
What do you want me to talk?
The Taino were getting Catholicism. Right, that's why when you ask a lot of our people, what's their nationality, they say I'm Catholic.
predominantly amongst the Hispanics. They say I'm Catholic or I'm Christian. That's how destroyed they are, especially the Native Americans. You got it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which
We serving God. Yeah, that's what we're saying. We serving wood and stones. Sorry. It's 64. That's right.
Brother, check this
book
out.
of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, for the one end of the earth, even unto the other. And thou shalt serve the other gods, which neither thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Hey, pan that camera. Look at that man. We serving him. A lot of our people served him. They served that man, Caesar B. Jesus Christ. And a lot of our people still serving him. Because again, when you go to those Catholic church and you run into those Hispanics, they're going to say that's God. They'll say it loud and proudly and boldly. They'll say that's my God. And nobody can take it away from them. That's what they'll say.
The Taino were given lessons in Catholicism and Spanish history and culture. Hundreds of Taino died of exhaustion and malnutrition and mistreatment.
And mistreatment because they took all their animals, their land, their cattle, go on.
Still others died because they had no defense against the European disease. The Spanish soldiers had brought with them in 1511.
Hold on, it said a lot of them died from their diseases. Now, that's in the scriptures as well. We're not making this up. Go to Deuteronomy 28. It might be 59. There's so many curses, man. Come on, you got it.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 59. Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and thy plagues of thy seed, even the great plagues, and long countenance of sore sickness, and a long countenance.
Right, so when a white man came to America and took your land and took your people and murdered them and killed them with their diseases, look, they got to be put to death for that. That's right. It makes right. You know?
So,
You said there's more than that. Where's that at?
That's what judgment all about.
You said what?
That's what judgment is
Say
all
that again,
about.
loud, brother.
That's what judgment is all about.
He said that's what judgment is all about.
justice.
Go to Galatians 6 and 7. He's right. You know?
The accessory to murder.
Yeah, accessory to murder. Huh? And that's why they say, what's that saying in the world? I can't remember. You reap what you sow. But guess where they got that from?
They
Bring
call
it
it
up.
karma in the world. That's it.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whosoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to the flesh shall reap corruption. But he that soweth to the spirit shall reap everlasting life.
All right, so you reap what you sow. All right? And a white man got to be put to death for everything he did.
Even his own court
Go to
system
Deuteronomy 32:7.
and his laws condemn him.
How do we feed our spirit?
How do we feed ourselves? Go to 1 Peter 2 and 1.
And not the flesh.
Good question. What did I
First Peter.
First Peter 2. Oh, man.
This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile, and hypocrisy, and envy, and evil speaking, as newborn babes.
Start from the top and let's break it down.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile, and hypocrisies.
Bro, you got to lay apart all of these things. Guile, malice, which is wrath, hypocrisy, go on.
And envies, and evil speakings, as newborn babes desire sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby.
All right, you got to desire the milk. And the milk is the light scriptures.
For an example, the 10 Commandments. And also, you know, the dietary law, what to eat and what not to eat. Like, you know anything that you should or shouldn't eat?
I'm thinking maybe organic fruits and vegetables, not meat.
Okay, well, you can eat meat, but go to Leviticus. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with eating meat. Paul ate meat. Go to Genesis 18 and 8. We're going to show you in Leviticus 11 with one verse. That's the Holy Bible.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are upon the face, that are upon the earth.
Right.
Whatsoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat.
Right, so if it's part of the hoof, cloven footed, and chew it out of the cud, then he can eat it. It's fit for consumption. It should be delicious unto you. Right? Now, if it's animals that we should eat, then that means it's going to be animals that we shouldn't eat. We're going to give you an example of an animal we shouldn't eat. Right?
Verse 7. And the swine.
And the what?
And the swine.
And the what?
And the swine.
And the swine. That's pig. That's pork. That's bacon. You know?
Though he divided the hoof.
So although he's divided of the hoof
and be cloven footed. Yet he cheweth not the cud.
He doesn't properly digest the meal. Right? Goes in one and not the other end. Right? It's not really breaking down the food that he's consuming. Right? Therefore, he's what?
He is unclean to you.
He's very unclean to you for that matter. No, you don't want to eat any animal that doesn't properly digest his meal. It's not good. In addition to that, we'll tell you something real. A pig will what?
A pig will eat anything.
A pig will eat anything. A pig is very poisonous. You know, a spot.
It's parasitic.
Yeah.
And that's where they cast the spirits too.
Okay, so you know about it. Yeah. So you know about Yahweh Shai casting them spirits in the pigs and they fell off the cliff.
You know what's going on?
Okay. Cool.
How can we cleanse ourselves?
You said, how can we cleanse ourselves? All right, we're going to finish this off.
Of their flesh shall ye not eat. Of their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you.
They're very unclean to you. Go on.
Verse 9. These shall ye eat that are all in the waters.
Right, now these are some of the animals that you can eat in the waters.
Whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters, and in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
Whatever got fins and scales, you better eat it. It's gonna be delicious, man. Go on.
And all that have not fins and scales in the seas, in the rivers, or all that move in the waters of any living thing which are lit in the waters, they shall be abomination unto you.
Right. So before we go on, we're going to give you a list of animals that you can't eat that's in the waters. You know, you got squid. No, you can't.
Cod.
Perch. You can eat cod. You can eat perch. You can eat rockfish. You can eat salmon. You can eat tuna. It's a lot more. Whatever have fins and scales. But it's also foods that you can't eat. Octopus. Name another one.
Catfish.
Catfish, you can't eat it because it doesn't have fins and scales. Sea snails. Don't eat no turtles. Don't eat a turtle.
No frogs.
It should not be a turtle on your plate.
What frogs?
No frogs, none of that.
A lot of people like those large clams, man. Gotta watch out for those
Seahorses.
Seahorses. No seahorses.
Hey, it's the brother that eats seahorses.
Yeah, don't stay away from those oysters and those large clams, cause it's all nothing but salt.
Yeah.
It's just you're just eating it just to destroy yourself.
And that clam got a long ass leg. It's like a long little muscle. It look nasty.
No muscles.
It's like a rod.
They scream when you cook them.
Yeah.
No muscles.
Don't scream them when you cook them. Don't scream.
No seaweed.
So you said, how do you cleanse yourself? Bring it up.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter
119,
119, verse 9.
9 and 17.
Wherewithal shall the young man cleanse his way, by taking heed thereto according to thy word.
By what?
By taking heed thereto according to thy
So
word.
you said, how do you cleanse yourself? We tell you gotta take heed to the word. Why? Go back to Zechariah 21 and 11. It's very imperative that you take heed to the word, you know? And if somebody bring out James 1 and 20.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 21, verse 11. He that keepeth the law of the Lord getteth the understanding thereof, and the perfection of the fear of the Lord is wisdom.
Right. Hey, break it down.
So once you start keeping the law and fearing the Lord, He gonna give you wisdom. That's your desire. That's the same song.
I understand.
And that's what cleanses you from unrighteousness.
I got attacked by
unrighteousness.
I got attacked by the spirit. I got attacked by a spirit, and it was so strong that I couldn't push it off myself. But God manifested to me as I repented. As I repented, He pushed the demon away, and the demon ran, and it never came back. But I remembered it, and I changed my life, and I grew my hair out, and I started having visions. I started having dreams about my family members and my friends' deaths, as if I could intervene within it, if some type of way.
Yes.
Because James 1 and 20. That's what I'm
Because
Have you ever heard of IFA, brother? IFA? I-F-A?
What's that?
I just want to lead you to it. I don't know much about it either, but it's from Africa, and it's like the Orishas are like 100 faces of God, but they're like angels. They're like it came to me, bro. It's like I was asking for the truth, you know, and it kind of like came to me.
Well, we're going to show you something. We're going to show you what the truth really
Book
is.
of James, chapter 1, verse 20.
Go to Psalms 119.
For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God.
You in James?
So James
Oh, God. Go on.
120.
Yeah, 1 and 20.
James chapter 1, verse 20. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God.
Go on.
Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word which is able to save your soul.
All right, so this word is able to save your soul. Right? He said, how do you cleanse yourself? You got to take heed to this word. This is able to save your soul, your spirit. You know? Now bring out what you had. 4 and 7.
It's the book of
What the
James.
brother said, it reminded me of this verse.
It's the book of James, chapter 4, verse 7. Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
He will flee from you. Now go back to Psalms. What you had in Psalms? 119.
142.
No, that's
Also,
different.
if I may add too, them spirits, brother, them spirits is actually sent from the Most High. It gets deep when you get into the scripture.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 9.
Well, hold that one. Hold that. Go back to James 1.
Because
and 1.
before the devil tempts you, he has to ask God first, right?
Like you said, Joe.
Everything is really just to tempt you to become your higher self.
Ultimately, the Most High do it. Ultimately, it's the higher levels, the Most High allow all that to happen. Go to James 1 and 1. You start verse 2. James chapter 1, verse 2.
It's the book of James, chapter 1. It's the book of James, chapter 1, verse 2.
Bring it out!
My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations.
He said, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. Go on.
What does that mean? Can you break that down?
I'm going to break it down. Go on.
Verse 3, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience.
Right, because you being tried when you're going through that temptation. You ultimately being tried at the end of the day. So if you're going through it, you actually have to thank the Most High. Right? Because he's training you. Right? He's putting you through the fire. You know, he's putting his soldier through the fire, basically. Go on.
But let patience have her perfection. Select it. Perfect works, that ye may be perfect and interior, wanting nothing.
Right, entirely wanting nothing. Hold that, go to Luke 19 and 21. That patience is everything. That patience is able to save your soul as well. Right? Because when brothers go through it, we don't throw in the towel and say, That's too much.
That's right.
You know, when we been put through the fire, we don't tell the Lord, look, Lord, that's too hot. You know, change it. You know, we don't tell that to the Lord. God, okay, that's the spirit. 21.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 19. And your patience possess ye your souls.
And your patience possess what?
Possess ye your souls.
And your patience possess ye your soul.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable man in the furnace of adversity.
Well, hold on. You can start at verse 1.
Verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
You got to prepare your soul for temptation. You got to realize the Most High going to put you through it. You know, you got to be ready. You know, you got to, be strong. Because it say in the Psalms or in the Proverbs, he that hath little faith or strength is weak. Something along those lines. Go on.
Set thy heart aright and consistently endure.
Consistently endure. Not sometimes, I'll only endure on Tuesday. I'll only endure on Friday and Saturdays. Because that's when the Sabbath is. No, you got to constantly endure. Go on. Hold on. Why do you got to constantly endure? Why do you got to constantly endure? Go to 1 Peter 5 and 7. We're going to tell you why you got to constantly endure. Here's one of Isaiah's. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7. Whoever got it. We're going to tell you why you got to constantly, endure. You got the Holy Bible, man. You're not going to find this in the Quran. You're not going to find this in the epics of books of Gilgamesh. You got it?
It's the book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 4.
7.
Verse 7, Slakia. Cast all your cares upon him, for he... 5 and 8. Be ye sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
So that's why you got to constantly endure. Your adversary, Satan, is always walking about, trying to tempt you. Whatever you're going through, or whatever is your kryptonite, for lack of better terms, the so-called white man or this society will, throw it in front of your face. So that's why you got to constantly endure. See this? Give verse Zechariah 2 and 4, 2 and 3.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 3. Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou may be increased at thy last end.
Right.
We
keep reading about cleaving and taking heed to the word because it's going to save you. Right? A lot of brothers don't know that being homosexual is a sin. You have brothers that walked up here, they learned that, and they said, I'm done. They realized that they got to stop because they realized it was a sin, because they realized they want to get closer to the Lord, and love Him. So you got to do what the Lord says.
Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully,
right.
And be patient when thou art.
Be what?
And be patient.
No, say it again.
And be patient.
Be what?
And be patient.
Be what?
And be patient.
You got to be patient. We keep reading about being patient.
Come on.
Because patience is everything.
That's right.
Go on.
When thou art changed to a low estate.
You gotta be patient when you change to a low estate. Remember Job, he was changed to a low estate. You had Jonah, he was changed to a low estate. You had Joseph, he was changed to a low estate. All these people was changed to a low estate.
I got double. That was changed.
Yeah. They end up enduring, and you see the end. You'll see their end.
Can you read something from the book of Malachi?
From the book of Malachi? All right.
What can you think of? Something to think
Go to the book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 1.
That's my name too.
Your name Malachi?
Oh, yeah, all praise.
Yeah, I met God.
Huh?
And the way it happened, it wasn't like I was expecting to meet him. It was more like he just saved me.
I want to show you something.
It's the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not.
Now what?
For I am the Lord, I change not.
The Most High is not going to change. Right? If he wants to afflict you and make you go through it, then look, he's not going to repent and say, I shouldn't have did that. No, he's doing it for a reason. Because he wants to strengthen you. Go to Zechariah 13:8.
Continue. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
Right. Zechariah. Zechariah 13:8. Whoever got it. Sister, you an Israelite. Yeah, Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. This is all about being tried through that fire. We're going to keep touching on it. We're going to keep reading. Right? This is very important.
This is the book of Zechariah.
Sharpen the sword.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, two parts therefore, like therein.
Start from the top.
Zechariah 13:1.
No, 13:8.
Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, two parts therein shall be cut off and die.
Right, that's the 2/3 being destroyed. Go on.
But the third shall be left therein.
Right, the 1/3, go on.
And I will bring the third part through the fire.
Right, the 1/3 is being tried right now. They're being put through the fire. Right? They're going through a whole bunch of affliction. Right?
Purification.
Yeah.
And we refine them as silver is refined.
And refine them as silver is refined.
And we'll try them as gold is tried.
And try them as gold is tried. Because look, if you want to take gold, if you want pure gold, what you got to do is first dig into the earth, get the gold, and then put it through the fire to melt the other impurities. Whether it be zinc, carbon, or any other type of rock or mineral. You got to burn all of that stuff off. And that's the same with us. Because the Most High looks at us as gold. Alright? Because I just thought of a precept. But the Most High looks at us as gold. Right? And then if he's looking at us as gold, he's going to make us go through the fire so we can, and turn up the fire so all the impurities and whatever we're going through, can be melted off. You can read out your precept.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 11. I'll start at 11 to get some context. And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogance of the proud to cease. I will lay low the haughtiness of terrible. Verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
Even a man than a golden wedge of Ophir. Woo! That's a beautiful precept. Golden wedge of Ophir, man.
And didn't you have gold?
That's David. His servant David.
What's that? Lamentations.
Lamentations?
Yeah, I think it's for Lamentations. Sons of Zion are gold. They are
4 and 7. I get it. We got the reason.
Damn. I think I know what you're talking about.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 4, verse 11.
Point is, Most High being. Well, I was going to look for this verse, but you say so.
Here we go. The diversity of tribulation to turn to that far gold. He purified his elect. That's what the scripture talking about. The elect men of Israel, the 1/3 of the elect. So you gotta go through the trials and tribulations.
We're gonna come back.
And endure.
Brother, it's making sense. Okay, all praise. You got any questions?
All right. 2 of them.
Can you go to a couple verses about fasting?
About fasting? Okay. Yeah, go to Jonah 3.
Oh yeah, fast. That's a good one.
You can go to Matthew, the 6th chapter.
Yeah. I got like 3 more gold and 2
You're in Matthew 6.
So Matthew 6.
Oh, what? So we're going to show you verses about fasting, brother. 65.
This is the book of Matthew, St. Matthew chapter 6, verse 5. And when thou prayest, thou shalt be as not the hypocrites are, for they love praying, standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen by men. Verily I say unto you, that they surely have their reward.
All right, now we're going over this because this is important as well. Because when you fast, you got to pray. You got to make sure you're not praying like the Pharisees and the Sadducees.
Praying in private.
Praying in private. You know, Daniel prayed in private. It's Daniel 6:10. Go on.
That's just prison.
Yeah.
They ain't had nobody looking at them. Verse 6. But thou, when thou prayest, enter in thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray thy Father which is in secret. And thy Father seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Verse 7. But when ye pray, Salakia, use not vain repetitions, as the heathen do, for they think that they should be heard for as much they speak it.
All right, that's self-explanatory. A lot of people say the same thing 8 times. Like, I don't need to, that's not necessary, you know?
Be not ye therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth the things that ye need of before ye ask him.
Exactly. Hold that. Go to Romans 8:26. So no right now the whole list. And, come before the Lord and say, Lord, I'm sorry for this and that and this other thing I did last night. Look, it don't really work out like that.
I understand, bro.
Just ask the Lord forgiveness of everything that you remember that you did. And the things that you can't remember, still ask the Lord for forgiveness.
When I was battling the spirit and I tried to battle before God appeared to me, when I was battling the spirit, I tried to battle it myself. I tried to say the Our Father, that didn't work. Nothing that I tried to say worked, but when I prayed from my heart and I told him that I would change my life, and if that you can get this spirit off me, I'll change my life, I'll walk a different path. He came, he appeared, and then the spirit fled and ran away. And I could hear it run away. And it sounded like an elephant.
Well, there's nothing wrong with saying the Our Father, but we're going to break it down too. Go on.
Book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 26. Likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities. For we know not what we shall pray for as we ought. But the Spirit itself maketh indecision for us when groanings when it cannot be uttered.
All right, so when we pray, we might ask the Lord, Lord, help me out with this. Lord, give me that. Lord, do this for me. The Spirit inside of us is saying 10 times things, things like the scripture said can't be uttered. Yeah. It's saying things that what you really, really need, basically. Right? And that's why people, they get kind of mad when they get stuff and they look like, Lord, I didn't ask for that. Why'd you give me that? But the Lord wanted you to have that, so because that's what you really need, It's like dealing with a kid almost. Your kid might say, Dad, I want the newest pair of Jordans. Just get him some shoes. That's all he really needs, If that makes any sense. You can go back to it.
That's what you mean by being, you can't, which shall not be uttered. You can't utter that stuff.
No, the thing is, being mortal man on this earth, we might ask the Lord, for X, Y, and Z. But X, Y, and Z, that's not what we really need. So the Lord will really give us something else, which is more, sufficient.
You might think you need X, Y, Z, and you need A, B, C.
Yeah, I'll read verse 8 again. This is the book of Matthew chapter 6, verse 8. Be not therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth the things that ye need of before ye even ask him. So
right.
That's the
most I know what you want.
That's the answer. So it says, brother, only you don't have to utter it up. Yeah. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us thy daily bread, and forgive us of our debts, as we've forgiven our debtors. Let us not into temptation, be delivered from us from evil. For thy kingdom is in power and glory forever. Amen. Verse 14.